Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the wild. And you're looking at Mystique's new tank. Orion used to live in here, but I put him into a different tank. And I switched another beta into Mystique's tank, and now she is in this tank. Now, she's a pretty active little fish, but nonetheless, she's got plenty of room to swim. And I always see her checking out her cave with Anubius, so she's doing pretty well. Anyways, yeah, this video, I want to talk about these awesome products I bought. If you saw my video for the pet store, you'll know that I purchased these. Now, these are the small bottles, and to my surprise, they weren't very expensive at all. But I came across vitamins for your fish. Now, I read the bottle, and basically it's good for 5 years. These vitamins are specifically not only to help your plants, but they also help your beta if they're recovering from sickness, which is really good because most of my fish are usually sick anyways. It's not because I make them sick. The fish industry just does not do a good job when it comes to selling fish. At this point, I would suggest if you're going to buy a beta, contact a reputable breeder and buy them from a very good breeder, because these poor betas are mass produced and they're sent from local Southeast Asia. And don't get me wrong, there are many wonderful breeders that do a fantastic job of breeding fish. You guys should check out a website or a YouTube channel called Dexter's World. Mad respect for this man because he does a phenomenal job raising his betas, and he spends hours a day, I mean long days, taking care of these fish and making sure they get the right foods and they grow healthy. He also has a normal job. And one of the things I respect about Dexter is he's actually teaching people how to breed betas and how to breed other fish so that people of his country can have jobs that make good money. And this is not to say that they're not doing a good job. This is not a problem with breeders in Southeast Asia. This is a problem with, I would say, fish transportation. When you put a bunch of fish together and there's nothing to keep them from getting sick, no medication of any kind, this can basically cause illness. Like if I were going to send, I don't know, let's say like 1,000 betas, if I had a container that big or a bag that big, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to measure out medication. Second thing I'm going to do, I'm putting in almond leaves. I'm going to do everything in my power to prevent those fish from getting sick. That should solve the problem. But for some reason, if a breeder isn't able to do that, or they don't want to financially, the second step would be stores. And guys, we all know the truth. The stores don't care. I can count on my hand how many stores actually care about how they treat their fish. This is just the truth. And it's sad. It sucks. I hate it. If I ever have a chance to change this, I will. But in the meantime, I want you to know this, because I promise whatever fish you have, guppies, tetras, any kind of large fish, betas, they're not going to live that long. I just recently lost Liberty, my little koi beta, and I had her for a year. It was her time to go. I mean, she just suddenly died. Then there was my other little fish, Nightwing. I had him for quite a while, and he just suddenly died. He lost color and he was gone. it's just how it is, you know. And you guys see my tanks. You can tell that they're crystal clear. You can tell the flow is good. I do weekly water changes. I put in, I think I put in the right amount of stress coat. Oh, I'm sorry. I have a new product that I use because they don't have stress coat anymore. But the point is that as a fish owner, I'm sure all of you try to do your best. And yeah, there's always the debate of gravel versus aquarium soil, but you guys have seen my plants. I mean, do they look like they're not healthy? No, they're doing quite well. And honestly, if you're changing the water regularly, you know, the plants will do fine. I do a 100% water change every 3 weeks, sometimes every 2 weeks, depending on the size of the tank. Because even with a good filter, you're still going to have the need to change the water. And I don't know if I've ever talked about what I look for when I decide when to change it. It's usually the smell of the water. If the water doesn't smell clean, it's time to change it. Another thing that I look for is when I stir the gravel around, what's floating in the water. You know, despite the fact that I drop pellets one by one and I drop little bloodworms, you know, one at a time, this does help in decreasing the amount of, you know, garbage that gets into your fish tank. But these are the two things I look for. Another thing is I do wash my hands with hot water, and I'll stick one of my hands into the water because I want to feel if it causes my skin to burn. If it burns in any way, then you know that the water has a high pH level, most likely. Now, I've only experienced this maybe 2 or 3 times in the last 2 years, but this is something I regularly do. I check once a week to make sure the pH is fine. I've never had a fish suffer from ammonia poisoning or even, I would just say, a high pH level, because that can burn your fish. Betas and other fish have sensitive skin. Which reminds me, if you care about how your fish are doing in this way, they do have products to soothe your fish in regards to their skin. Dried almond leaves are great for that. One of the things they do is they will soothe your fish. And you don't actually need to only use them for betas. Use them for your other tanks. You know, if you have guppies, you have tetras, you have, you know, goldfish. I don't know every type of fish that are out there, but all fish, they like to have their, you know, skin and fish feeling great. And their slime coat is very important. I believe this is probably what keeps them from getting sick. It's kind of like a defensive layer against illness besides their skin. But, you know, if you've got almond leaves, definitely use them. And if you don't like having a big old leaf in your tank, just cut it up into pieces and put it inside the filter. It'll properly filter the tannins into your water. In fact, speaking of tannin, I have a fish named Tannin, and I'll be doing a video on him. But all of these things are fantastic for your fish. And back to fish care. Okay, so as you see, we have 2 bottles. I purchased a bottle of nitrifying bacteria. I'm going to be doing a video on the nitrogen cycle, which is why I purchased this. And of course you can check out my pellets. Now guys, these pellets, I'm sorry, you can't get them in Taiwan, but I hope one day if I have an online business, I will be selling these pellets along with other products that we may not have access to. But anyways, yeah, these are my pellets and my fish love them. I have never come across a picky beta who does not love eating those pellets. No joke. I had a beta, his name was Flash. He literally would not eat anything except those pellets. Yeah. I had another brand of pellet, which was from Taiwan. It was great. all 6 of my betas would eat it. He didn't want to touch it worth anything. He only liked the omega-1. Okay, so this is what I wanted to talk about. This is a local product from Taiwan, and this is basically for your fish. I bought this because, as I mentioned, your beta's not going to be healthy. Aside from getting him from a local breeder who is really good at what he or she does, you know, they send you your beta. Your beta's been properly fed, bred, the whole deal. And then they'll put an almond leaf in so he doesn't get sick or she doesn't get sick. And they also care about the temperature of what the water's in. Most of the time, if you have a reputable breeder, the fish are going to be awesome. This is sadly hard because a lot of people don't do international shipping. I don't blame them. I've talked to several breeders in America. They've got beautiful fish. They don't do overseas shipping, and I think it's because they don't want the fish to die or they don't want them to live a short life. So what I'm hoping to do to stimulate the economy in Taiwan is I really want to find a reputable breeder. And for those of you who are Taiwanese and you're on my channel or you have my channel, could you please connect me with breeders who breed betas and they do a good job? Because I'd really like to be able to have people in Taiwan have a beautiful beta and, you know, have the pleasure of setting up a very nice but simple tank and knowing how to take care of their beta. According to what I understand, there are 3 things that are important. First, the size of your tank. That is important. Second, is your water clean? You know, is it suitable for your fish? And third, what your fish eats. If you do these things and you maintain your tank to the best of your ability, your fish can live a long time. Now, beta vitamins, you may not need it. We do have frozen bloodworms, but I bought this as a preventative measure for being sick because according to the bottle, it says that you can use this if your fish is recovering from illness. But why not prevent illness by giving them vitamins? If this can boost their immune system and it can help, you know, to have more nutrition besides the food that they're eating, I think it's not a problem. So this is called a vitamin complex. And if you can get something like this in your country, in your fish store, I highly recommend it. All right, guys. Well, that is the latest video. The video that I sent before, that was just a fun video that I wasn't planning on making. But that's going to be it for about this week. And hopefully the week after, I'll be doing a video on the pet stores in Taiwan. And then I'd like to do a video on a fish that I recently acquired. I think I got him because, oh, I know why I got him. Because I went to the pet store and, you know, like any hobbyist, you go look at the fish. And I found this fish, and actually I found 2. And I realized that nobody were going to buy these fish. I promise you. They were just the most average looking fish. But I thought they were beautiful. So I'm doing something where, since I'm not allowed to have filters and lights anymore, because I have, you know, 7 fish already, I'm creating a tank where I don't have a filter, I don't have a light, but what I do have is access to clean water. I have good water conditioner. It's basically like Stress Coat, but it's from Azu. If you guys checked out my video, I showed you those products. And I've got plant food. these guys are living in a filterless, lightless tank, but it's large enough and they have plants, and I'm going to see how this goes. But for those of you who are watching, please try to understand. I live in a building where the electrical system is old, and if I do this, then I can keep these guys. And I'm not planning on keeping them forever. To be honest, I hope to give them to families that are wanting to have a fish. If I have all the materials already, then they can have a fish. And I actually have 2 filters. I have used old media to actually prepare these filters. I've had them because I forget where I got these extra filters. Oh, I remember. Sometime last year they were having a sale on filters, so I picked up a couple just in case one of my filters decided to die. So, yeah, and lights, the family can purchase a little light. I can show them what the box looks like and they can go to the pet store. And yeah, so the 2 fish I have, the first one is called Tannin, and he's a veiltail. He's beautiful. There's a second fish I have, he's called Sky, and he's a veiltail. He's also beautiful. He's not as bright as most betas. I'm just wondering if it's because maybe he hasn't had good nutrition. But since I found the frozen bloodworms, 1 cube feeds all of my fish. So I'm hoping with clean water, good nutrition, the right water temperature, and an environment that's suitable for a beta, I'm hoping his colors will develop more. But in the meantime, they have to pass the 3-month mark where, yes, I can live longer than under 3 months. And if they do so, then I will be finding a home for these 2 betas. And hopefully I can bless some family. Alright guys, that's it for the week. I really gotta go. I just want to say thanks for watching my videos. It means a lot. But really, it's just so I can have a record of my fish. And another thing too is, if my videos help in any way, that's cool. I'm of course happy about that. And thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And I just want to say God bless you. May your life be filled with peace and joy. May you sense the presence of Jesus in your life. And for those of you who aren't Christians, that's not to be offensive. It's just, I am a Christian. And as you know, I'm a self-supported Christian missionary. It is something that I am very active in. To be honest, I have seen things that would amaze you. The power of God is amazing, and it is not something that man made. I actually am thinking about starting a channel called The Supernatural in Taiwan, because I've seen some amazing things that God has done in Taiwan, and I think it would blow your mind. But I have nothing to show you at the moment, but I've got stories. And if any of you guys know me, well, you don't know me, but I should tell you, I never lie. If I don't know the answer, I'll tell you. But when I tell a story, I'm as truthful as I can be. Or I try to tell a story I remember as best that I can, because sometimes the story happened a long time ago. Nonetheless, I try to be honest with every story I tell. And if I ever do start this channel, I promise I'll let you know. But I have seen things that would just amaze you. Yeah. Anyways, so you guys have a great day, great night. Be safe. and may you have a good week. Until then, take care.